Hello and thank you for joining us. President Trump has announced he is replacing Homeland Security Department Secretary Kristi Noem, making her the first cabinet secretary to leave their post in the second Trump administration. The president made the announcement on Truth Social, saying Noem, quote, served us well and had numerous and spectacular results. He also named Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin as his pick for the next DHS secretary. Our Caitlin Huey-Burns caught up with Senator Mullin on Capitol Hill to ask about his reaction when he got the call from the president.
I've got to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting the call today, but super excited. And I'm more excited about just ready to get started. There's a lot of work we can do to get Department of Homeland Security working, working for the American people. You know, the Department of Homeland Security has a very broad jurisdiction. And I think there's a lot of work that we need to do, and I'm excited about it.
Noem will now serve in a special envoy role. In a statement on X, she thanked the president for the appointment and celebrated what she described as, quote, historic accomplishments at DHS. Her abrupt demotion comes following her testimony on Capitol Hill this week, including a testy exchange. Well, this one wasn't quite as testy as other exchanges with lawmakers, but an exchange with Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy.
The president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly,
Did the president
worked
know
with
you were going to do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
Kennedy said he spoke on the phone with President Trump following the hearing, saying the president's recollection and Noem's recollection are different. He told reporters today Trump was, quote, mad as a murder hornet. Even before Tuesday's testimony, Noem had faced scrutiny over her handling of DHS's immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis, including her immediate response to the shooting deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, calling them domestic terrorists. CBS News White House correspondent Willie James Inman joins me now. What led up to this?
Hey there, Lindsay. Well, the writing was on the wall for Secretary Kristi Noem for her to likely be replaced or fired because sources and officials have been speaking behind the scenes with reporters, including myself, and telling us how this all came about. In fact, Corey Lewandowski, who is a senior advisor to Noem, who is leaving his post as well, he spoke with President Trump, and had an acrimonious conversation with the president on Tuesday following Noem's testimony, in large part about that ad, that $220 million ad that we have seen on TV screens here in Washington, D.C. That the president told Reuters earlier today that he did not approve of Secretary Noem to make that ad, while she said the opposite during that hearing. You saw it just there, and you played it just before you came to me here. On top of that, that was part of the fallout, of Noem's fallout, the allegations of infidelity. We, of course, know that there have been some rumors here in Washington, not confirmed, but allegations of infidelity with Secretary Noem, the mismanagement of her staff, a source telling me, and on top of that, her constant feuding with the heads of other agencies, including CBP and ICE. And this source telling me, this administration source saying Kristi's drama sadly overshadowed and distracted from the administration's extremely popular immigration agenda, which will continue full force. Now, you can argue whether or not the administration's immigration agenda is popular or not. If you look at public polling, certainly some Americans disagree with it. But nonetheless, all of these culminating in the downfall of Secretary Noem, her demotion, leaving her post. We have learned that she will leave her role at the end of the month. So there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. And I'll note, especially those protests and what we've seen in Minnesota with the killing of 2 American citizens leading up to this moment with the secretary being demoted, and that announcement happening earlier today, coming directly from the President of the United States, Lindsay.
Willie James Inman, thank you. CBS News political reporter Hunter Woodall joins me now. Who is Markwayne Mullin, the man that the president has tapped to lead DHS now?
Lindsay, Markwayne Mullin is somebody, let's be very clear, he is a conservative senator from the conservative state of Oklahoma, a reliably red state, but he's somebody who does have a very interesting history when you look at his congressional bio and some facts about him. He's a member of the Cherokee Nation. He's also somebody he's a businessman. He's deeply involved with his family's plumbing company, and he's somebody who has come up in Republican politics in the way that obviously is more traditional, but does speak to his longevity. He's somebody, he was a U.S. House member before he became a U.S. Senator. Roger Wicker, Mississippi Senator, was speaking to reporters earlier today, shortly after the news broke, and he anticipated that Markwayne Mullin would be able to get confirmed. And that just speaks to, obviously, this is somebody who appears to be well-liked by his colleagues, he has a visible presence here on Capitol Hill. And so far, during his time representing Oklahoma, obviously in the Senate and beforehand the U.S. House, he has become this kind of figure that does seem to command respect in Republican circles.
What other reaction are you hearing on Capitol Hill?
Well, I think what's very notable here, you talked a little bit about that, the contentious hearings that Secretary Noem had on Capitol Hill this week. And one of the most pivotal moments of these hearings seemed to be North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis, a Republican, albeit one who is retiring at the end of his upcoming term, is not running for re-election later this year. He really was highly critical of Secretary Noem, not just about what happened in Minnesota, not just about her leadership of the agency, but also just her leadership in general. He had called on her to resign, and it really came across how upset he was with Secretary Noem and with DHS, which is notable given, obviously, Republicans being critical of the Trump administration, Trump officials. Doesn't happen that often. Then you saw what Thom Tillis, this Republican senator, said about Markwayne Mullin. I'm reading here, he called him a great guy, a great choice to lead DHS. And he also said this is somebody who will restore competence at the agency. That speaks a lot to the situation that DHS finds itself in at this point in the Trump administration, but also just about the shift that Markwayne Mullin, if he is able to make it through the confirmation process, could command in Washington, Lindsay.
I mean, didn't Tillis say that Noem represented a population in her state that was 3/4 of the population of the county he represents?
That's the fascinating thing about Secretary Noem, right? She was somebody, she served in the U.S. House. She was then governor of South Dakota. She obviously was a Trump loyalist, is a Trump loyalist, and it was somebody who some thought, could she have been a VP pick in the 2024 presidential cycle, Lindsay? But DHS was an interesting fit for her. And when you've seen what's happened in recent months, especially the turmoil, the violence, and again, those 2 killings of U.S. citizens in Minnesota, it really became clear that her leadership of that agency was going to get a ton of scrutiny, and it did not seem to be letting up anytime soon.
Hunter Woodall, thank you.